All right, dear viewer, this is a live event. All right, dear viewer, this is a live event here at Thika Garrison in Kiambu County. A very important date in the calendar of the Kenya Defence Forces. And today's event, Cabinet Secretary for Defence Soipan Tuya will be leading the celebrations and marking of the Kenya Defence Day celebrations. This is the first event for the Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya to lead, and she's already here together with Chief of Defence Forces Charles Kahariri, together going round just to see the impeccable and the beautiful work the men and women in the Kenya Defence Forces have been doing. These men have set up different tents to showcase the equipments, their skills, and the services that they do put forth to ensure that Kenya is safe through its borders, may it be land, air, and even of its waters. Dear viewer, just to bring you up to speed about this very day that is celebrated or marked annually. This is the 13th Kenya Defence Forces Day celebrations, a day that is significant to these men and women in uniform. Remember, this day is being commemorated this year of 2024 as troops prepare to return home after the conclusion of their African transition mission in Somalia that is expected to happen in December of this year. This comes 13 years later under the stewardship of the late President Mwai Kibaki. These troops were sent to the neighboring country of Somalia under the Operation Linda Inchi that was in October 2011. The operation has seen different men and women from different disciplines, the Kenya Army, Kenya Navy, Kenya Air Force, putting their best foot forward to ensure that the country is safe and secure. Remember, this year's theme, even as the troops prepare to come back home after a beautiful and well done job in Somalia, this year's theme of the Kenya Defence Forces celebration is One Force, Mission Ready, Unity in Action for National Security and Development. One Force, Mission Ready, Unity in Action for National Security and Development. Remember, KDF Day is the most important day in the KDF calendar, as it reflects soldiers, the men and women in uniform who get an opportunity to be recognized. So we expect in this event soldiers who performed exceptionally well in their duties will be recognized and presented with awards in recognition of their remarkable work. Also today, the Kenya Defence Forces will be launching a book. That book has been titled The Defense of the Nation. The Defense of the Nation. Just about a reminder is to remind you that these days being celebrated at the Thika Barracks, whereby it is the home of the sappers, that is the Kenya Army Corps Engineers, the home of the sappers. But that said, as you have seen from the live pictures we have been bringing to you, apart from the Kenya Army, they have also been joined by their counterparts from the Kenya Navy and the Kenya Air Force, just to ensure this day is celebrated with pomp and color. Also, families, friends, relatives of our men in uniform have also joined to ensure that this day is a success. Alright, a brief to it, as I had mentioned that as we mark the 13th KDF Day celebrations, it is a significant day. This is in preparation to the return home after the conclusion of the Kenyan troops in the African Transition Mission in Somalia, that is ATMIS, this December, just a few days shy from this day, December, as we expect these men and women to return back home. I'll give you a brief history about the deployment of these troops to Somalia. It goes back to the year 2011. And on 2011, remember, under the leadership of the late President Mwai Kibaki, under the operation in Inchi, Kenyan troops in collaboration with the Jubaland security forces ensured the liberation of the south port of the city of Kismayo, together with the 12 other towns in the Jubaland region from the Al-Shabaab control. Remember, Kenya is among the 5 ATMIS troops, that is contributing countries alongside Burundi, Djibouti, Ethiopia and Uganda. And the KDF has played a significant role in the mission under ATMIS. But remember, in the year 2012, Kenyan troops, that is on February, were integrated into the African Union mission in Somalia, that is AMISOM, and the predecessor mission to ATMIS, following a United Nations resolution. Also, just under the dates of the Kenya Defence Forces is still under this mission, Kenya has had its own share of loss, despite the major and the highlight of it, the wins. In the year 2016, more than 100 soldiers and officers were killed in an attack by the Al-Shabaab militants, but nonetheless they soldiered on, this to ensure that Kenya, its borders and its people, its borders and her people are safe and secure. And also, just to highlight that even as we mark this day, different men and women will be recognized for the different roles that they have undertook, which are considered to be remarkable and exceptional, while serving the Kenyan people, Kenya as a nation, in their different roles and capacities at the Kenya Defence Forces. We have had different sights and sounds of from the men and women in uniform, even as they await the commencement of today's event, which, like I mentioned earlier, will be spearheaded by Cabinet Secretary for Defense, that is Soipan Tuya. Also last year, we saw President William Ruto leading these celebrations together with the former Cabinet Secretary for Defense, that is Eden Duale, before he was moved to a different assignment, still as a Cabinet Secretary. But today it will be quite different. We'll see Soipan Tuya leading the first military event, first Kenya Defence Forces Day celebrations in her capacity as the Cabinet Secretary for Defense. Remember, this is an annual event that is marked by these men and women, a very important day in the calendar of the Kenya Defence Forces. And so today we expect the same to happen. Recognition, awarding, even as these very important section of our security will launch a book, and the book has been titled Defense of the Nation. Defense of the Nation. Remember, it is the 13th celebration of this annual event. But just to give you some highlights, before the main event, we had on Friday, that is the 11th of October, a group of Kenya Air Force officers and service members who did a 52-kilometer walk from Moi Air Base, Isili, to Engineers Brigade Headquarters, where we are, that is at Thika, Kiambu Barracks. Well, this event was to honor the sacrifices and services of KDF personnel, whereby 80 officers and service members led by Colonel Benedata Kikech participated in the trek, which was flagged off by Brigadier Bernard Oluoch, who is the base commander. Well, the walk took through the participants through diverse landscape, taking them through Thika Road, just to showcase the tranquility of rural settings, testing their endurance. And these men, before the main event, which is being celebrated today, to just share a sense of unity and purpose among the different three disciplines: the Kenya Army, the Kenya Navy, and the Kenya Air Force. And today being the highlight of these events, currently what we can see is already Cabinet Secretary for Defense Soipan together with Chief of Defense Forces Charles Kahariri on top of a military car are going round the Thika garrison. Have some sights and sounds from Thika barracks.
Majeshi yuko pia pamoja nasi Brigedia mstaafu Murunga ambaye ameshawasili kupata kuwa nasi katika hafla hii siku ya leo. Basi unavyoshuhudia kwa umbali msafara wa mgeni wetu rasmi, waziri wetu wa ulinzi Mheshimiwa Roslinda Soipan Tuya, wakielekea upande ule wa pili kuweza kutathmini utendakazi wa majeshi ya ulinzi na hali kadhalika kuweza kupata uhalisia wa jinsi mambo yalivyo katika majeshi yetu ya ulinzi ya Kenya. Akiwa ameandamana pia na katibu Wizara ya Ulinzi Daktari Mariru Senior Counsel, hali kadhalika mkuu wa majeshi ya ulinzi na service commanders.
Les oiseaux se cachent pour mourir. Chichi, tu as mis fin à tous mes délires. Chichi, tu es le plus exquis des élixirs. Chichi, qui t'a libéré.